Good morning. How is
Good morning.
everybody today?
Nice and sunny in Chicago.
All
Same
right.
here, Nebraska.
Rain here.
Oh, we had that a couple days ago.
I'm tired of this
Yeah.
weather.
Clear
Yeah,
skies in
three-quarters of
Colorado.
an inch. Yeah. What do you got? Clear skies?
Clear skies.
That's good.
Should be a warm one.
David's all ready for the 4th. He's got fireworks behind him already.
No, we moved
Not you, David, the other David.
a week from today. I'm moving, so
Oh,
the
congratulations.
house is full of boxes.
Well, congratulations. You've been working on that for a while, I know, for sure.
Yeah,
So,
it keeps me occupied so I don't go crazy and overtrade.
well, I don't worry about that on you anymore. You've got your system down, so. All right, let's get rolling. Well, we're a bit down today, but we've had some good up days, and today is the first day of the third quarter. Trent and I were just talking about the year is half over, if you can believe it. We're starting on the second half of 2025, and it's just amazing. So again, we're going to start up. We'll probably have our earnings reports coming up here pretty soon. We always start out with the big banks, so we'll get ready for that in the coming weeks. We still have holding peace in the Middle East. Trade deals are still being talked about. China, Canada's back on negotiations. Today we're talking. It's a short week. We have 3 trading days left. Well, 2.5 actually. I think the markets closed early on Thursday. I'll have to recheck, but it seemed like they are. Today we have the ISM Manufacturing Index. Job openings are the JOLTS in Chicago PMI. In company of note, Constellation Brands. I believe they're kind of an alcohol company. They do earnings today. So we got that going for us. Let me get this out of the way. And let's go look at some charts real quick. Yeah, let me get this up. So taking a look at the SPY here, SPY, we're going to open right about a little bit lower than we closed yesterday. Again, we're riding the upper Bollinger Band up. It's been on pretty much momentum trade here for the last 5 days. Still have the oscillators kind of moving up, and we got some sell orders right above at 625.13. So, from going sideways, we popped out, with all the news and everything that's happened in the last week. We'll see if the big, beautiful bill gets through. It looks like they've been going through a lot of gyrations in the Senate right now to try to get something passed. And of course, it's going to have to go back to the House, and the House will have to agree with what the Senate did. So it's still back and forth. It's like a bad badminton game being played in Washington right now. DIA, the Dow looks similar. Okay, we do have some resistance above, and that's right where we're seeing the sell orders put. But again, we're going to open right about a little bit lower than where we closed. We're outside of the Bollinger Band. Again, we're seeing this momentum that picked up with the enthusiasm about things happening in the market and in the economy. We do have some. We'll see about Fed interest rate potential lowering of the interest rate. I think we have a meeting this month in July. It didn't sound like Powell wants to do it, but it sounds like some of his governors might be doing it. And that, again, that might add a little fire to our momentum here in the markets. Qs, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days above the Bollinger Band, which probably pull in a little bit. You can see we almost look like we are into the Bollinger Band with some sells right above that. Again, if we were talking about, investments and getting back into the full market, like in the Qs or in the SPY, we had this fight along the 200 popped up. If you did the Paul Tudor Jones strategy, you're doing pretty well, in the Qs, in the Dow, and in the SPY. A couple of stocks that we've seen also, individual stocks. Bitcoin still hanging in, above support. about 105.5, and resistance up here where we hit it at about 112, sideways still, right along right above the 20, right above the 50, and just popped a little bit under, not a full candle yet, under the 9. Still have some momentum going here. And again, just sideways pattern with Bitcoin. We'll see what happens, but that affects MicroStrategy, of course. MicroStrategies, had a pretty good run up. Yesterday it had a nice run up above the 9. It looks just like, Bitcoin is above the 9, above the 50, above the 20. Also, it popped up above the upper Bollinger Band. We're going to come back down. Looks like it opened a little bit lower today on MicroStrategy, but nice run on MicroStrategy. Also on MicroStrategy, the intermediate resistance line used to be right about in here. Okay, and the program has recalculated it up, and so has the sell orders. The traders have moved their sell orders right above the intermediate resistance line, and that is at 416.92. We closed yesterday at 404.23 on MicroStrategy. Nvidia's come up, hit resistance, okay, outside the Bollinger Band 4 times. Looks like we're going to pull back in. We're going to open a little lower on Nvidia, below the intermediate resistance level. Again, Nvidia was one, looks just like, this drives pretty much the Qs and drives pretty much SPY because of their market cap. But again, from an investment point of view, if you would have gotten in using Paul Tudor Jones and simple line of 200, you'd be doing pretty well too, just as an investment. You have one trade, you would have gotten in somewhere around 129.93, and you'd be at 157.99 right now, just by that one line right there. Okay, Meta. Meta's done the kind of same thing as Nvidia. We're right up on resistance. Here's some sell orders right above it, 755.20. Looks like we're going to open up right about where we closed, right about on the Bollinger Band. So again, for Meta, same thing on this for investments. Kind of came up, we played along the 200 and then took off. So again, if you got in, just use Paul Tudor Jones. You got in at 597, and you'd be sitting today at 738. That would have been a nice investment move up just from the 200. Google had it popped up like you see here. We had resistance. We've done this before. We popped up right to where the sell orders are. We did it twice back here in June around the 11th. And then we did it again yesterday, wicked up, hit it, came back down. That's about where we're going to open. We're still fighting this resistance on Google. We had a nice run up, but we really need to get past that. And this must be a pretty strong line of resistance here where the sell orders are on Google. Amazon resistance 2 days in a row, popped down, went back below the Bollinger Band. Again, this line of resistance for Amazon, we're gonna have to get past that. We might be able to see it pop up. You've got sell orders at 229.19, and we closed yesterday at 219. And that looks like about where we're gonna open today. Tesla, came up, been fighting right along resistance here, came back down. Now we're 3 days underneath the 9 and the 20. We're coming down. We're going to test the 200 here on Tesla. 200 is right next to the 50. It's going to be a pretty stiff level of resistance. At least it should be, because we have two long-term moving averages right next to each other, but we have the oscillators also trending down. We'll see if it bounces, can holds, or does one of these numbers over here and comes back up. Kind of went down and hit the 50 last time, but now the 50 is right at the 200. So Tesla has been zooming down, and it looks like this is from a half hour ago. It's going to open down below right here on this level, below the 200, below the 50, right above the Bollinger Band up for Tesla. Palantir has been playing right along this resistance level. It's come up, touched the Bollinger Band. We've got sell orders where we've hit it 4 times, come back down under resistance, under the 9 on Palantir. Looks like we're going to open up just a little above the 20. Okay, again, kind of a sideways movement on Palantir, and if you look down at the oscillators, they're all turning down. A little bit of positivity just in the momentum on the RSI, but it's at 53 on Palantir. So we'll look at some of our. We have 3 lists we put out: momentum, under 200, and the watch list, and they did all well yesterday. Of course, the market did well yesterday. 16 out of the 19 of our momentum list, or 84%, were up yesterday. 70.5%, or 12 out of 17 of the under 200, were up yesterday, and 85.7%, 12 out of 14 of the watch list were up yesterday. I'll just look at the top 5 that we were looking at. First one on momentum list was Goldman Sachs. Boy, I just kept moving right above the Bollinger Band. You can see it's coming back. It's fought up and then got beat back down. We had an indecision candle. That's about where we put it on the list. So that's up actually 2.45% yesterday. We had Seagate, STX, put it on the list here. Again, it had like a candle of indecision. It went up about 2.04% yesterday. And again, you got some sellers right above it, right along the Bollinger Band. NTRS, these are just the top 5. Again, you can see NTRS is playing right here, and that's where it came back in. That's where we put it on the list. It popped up. NTRS was up 1.91% yesterday. Again, playing the Bollinger Band. Watch out for sell orders right above it. Disney, of all things, is a momentum stock now. Again, put it on the list right here. Disney was up about 1.37% yesterday. Again, sell orders above it. No resistance level other than that. And then Netflix was on the momentum list. And again, here's Netflix. Popped up. Netflix was up about 1.2%. Again, a little bit of sell orders above it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times above Bollinger. Looks like it's going to pull in right on the Bollinger to open up today on Netflix. So you can go and look at the others on the list. There's quite a few, and 16 out of 19 are up. Under the 200 list, and this one, Weyerhaeuser, or Whirlpool, I mean, has just been a good one for us. We've been in this for a while. Here's where it's put on the list. It's up 19.28%. It hit the 50. Now it's hit resistance. This would be a good spot for me to exit this trade and take my 20% and be happy with Whirlpool. Of all stocks, Whirlpool, we were in it for almost 3 weeks, or maybe more than 3 weeks. So it was a really nice swing trade for 20%. ILMN has been on for a couple of weeks. We put it on back in here. ILMN is up about 5.72% since then. Still kind of rolling along between the 9 and in the upper Bollinger Band, and oscillators still look good. So still being ILMN. Always set your stops below it. BBWI, this one we probably would have kicked out of, and we've been in this one for a while. Bed Bath and Beyond. We're up about 6%. It's come up, hit resistance. That's where I'd get out, take my 6%. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days. 6%. I take that every day. Nice swing trade on that. Could it still go up? Absolutely. But I'm just going to follow my trading plans, and I'm going to pop out of that one and be happy. Small little one that we talked about last week, Wolf. Okay, Petco Health. Put in a couple days ago. It's right up along the 20. It's been hitting that, for 4 times it's hit it. We're up about 4.04%. Again, it's a small stock. I think 272 got in, closed yesterday at 283. So, you can buy more of this stock. Percentages on, are a little bit higher, but this can still go up. We still have a roll up. We still have oscillators looking good. We just need to get past that 20. You can take some off, or you can wait and see if you can get up. Next level is resistance at 306 on this little small Wolf stock. And then LE, Land's End, of all things, Land's End's up 1.23% since we put it on, and it's just kind of right along the upper Bollinger Band. You can see we're touching. And again, this is from where we just put it on the list. Had we been playing this, buying it, I mean, you could have got a good deal if you were in Land's End when it popped down right here to above support. If you would have had a buy order in there, it would have popped right back up. like we did down here. It's been playing the bottom. So again, I'm just playing off of where we put it on the list, but you can do much better if you look at the stock that you like and try to get a better cost basis by putting in a limit buy below where price is, and you get these little wick downs sometimes that'll snap up an order for you, and then back up they go. But still a nice run on Land's End. Couple more that weren't on the list that I just saw that may be of interest to people is Smuckers has been riding along this little support line that we've seen. The nines come down. Look at that. Just once it hit that support, turned sideways, and Smuckers had a little bit of a bump yesterday. We're seeing the oscillators move up. It's under the 200. So there's a little bit of room. You got the 20 next. So, we'll see what happens today. The market's down a little bit, but there was a pretty good pop on SJM yesterday. Newsmax, another one under the 200. Starting to see that. We see it fell down, came down to the initial support level, got above the 9 3 days in a row. Actually hit up to the 20. Watch out for this Bollinger Band, but there may be some room to run on Newsmax too. It's too young of a stock to have a 200 yet. That's why you don't see the 200 on there. It's pretty new. BFB. Sorry, I've got BFB again, another one that looks come down sideways, 3 days above Brown Foreman. Okay, it's got good volume. We're starting to see the oscillators tick up a little bit. This may be one that's made the turn. Again, watch for your resistance at 20. Watch the Bollinger Band coming down, but it's kind of made a turn. Potential for your watch list. We talked about McDonald's. We watched that thing just slide down. We've been watch it. Finally hit support, went under sideways. It's come back up. I'd like to see this 9 come back up and start curving back up. But we did close above it, right above support. I wouldn't get in it yet. I don't have confirmation on the MACD, but it looks like it may be bouncing on McDonald's. We'll see. Again, put it on your watch list for the under 200. And the last one under 200, Macy's has come down. Looks like it's got a little bit of momentum moving up. Got above not only the 20, but the 50 yesterday, right on support. You got some sell orders above it, but Macy's moved up too, and just crossing over the MACD. So again, Macy's potential for your watch list under the 200. On our watch list, we had EL. We got in back here. It's up 7.46% since we got in. It was following actually got in. This is when we put it on the list. It's above the 200. This is one of those we watched on the 200. Looked like it was going to take off. Put it on the list here. Off it went. We're up again 7.46%. Everything still looks pretty good. This is your cost basis if you got in at that point. Here's your support at the 9. Always put a stop in. Maybe you want to put it in at the 9 or a little bit below. You'd still save some of your profits if it did pop down, or it can continue to run. You've got sell orders right above it. It's on EL, again, on the watch list. SYF. Again, this has been on the watch list for a second week. Came in right up, so we got above the 9. Below the Bollinger Band, it's followed the Bollinger Band up. This is up about 7.06% since we put it on the list. Again, watch the oscillators. You got some sell orders above, and then you got resistance. So this one's getting close to maybe wanting to take a little bit of a profit off of that if you're in that. Reddit. Right back here on Reddit. This is another one that got above the 200. If this is one you could be a investor in. It kind of went sideways, but it did because, you got to, it was playing the upper Bollinger Band, came back in. You see that a lot. It comes back in, hits support, and takes off again. And that's what we've seen with Reddit. And Reddit's up about 8.21% since we put it on the list. AMD, this would be one I'd probably be getting out of. Okay, AMD, we got in back in this level. It's rolled the Bollinger Band up, came up, hit resistance. This is about where I would get out here. It could still run up a bit, but I would take my 10.65% profit since we put it on the list and book that and go find something else to play around in. And the last one, Datadog. Datadog we talked about back here, right when it was at the Bollinger Band. It rode the Bollinger Band up. I like it when it rides below it. Datadog's up about 5.36%. then you can still be in it. Again, you got support. You're above where we put it on the list. You can put in a sell order, a stop down here to make sure you keep your profits if it did dump today, or you can just let it ride too. So that's Datadog. A couple others that you may want to look at that are not on the Allstate bounced up, came down, played the 200, bounced back up. That's a big old candle, but Allstate has big candles. But again, it may be something you might want to watch. The oscillators are turning up. You got a little bit of room for you.
They
It's on
got my
Allstate.
payment, Mark. Allstate got my payment. That's why they're up.
Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's sad.
Yeah.
Don't buy it because they got his payment. So they,
Yeah,
Zeihan.
there you go.
Zeihan Corporation is a bank. Okay. It's been playing around the 200. It's popped over the 200. I want to see this with more strength and back test that. But again, we're seeing a lot of these. Again, I want to make sure it can continue to move up. It's on the outside of the upper Bollinger Band, but these are I put on my watch list and I watch. But if it does get rolling, you got a long ways up to resistance on Zeihan. I'm not ready to pop in because I'm not sure it's done with the 200 yet. But we have some good oscillators down here. But one to watch on Zeihan. A couple others. UNH. Sorry, guys. There's just a lot of stuff. UNH is still trying. It's trying to get above. It's above the 20 now. It's got above the 9, but it's still, it's still not there yet. Okay, but we're starting to see oscillators bend up a little bit. So maybe there's hope for UNH this week or maybe early next week. But just keep watching. We brought up Lulu. Lulu's kind of in the same boat, following along this support level. Kind of popped up a little bit. So keep this on your watch list and see if we can get past that MACD and maybe we can start seeing Lulu move up. It's not quite there yet, but it's something to watch. And then the other one we watched was Pepsi. We talked about Pepsi being sideways along this support level. Pepsi finally popped up above the 9. It's right, and now it's hitting some resistance at the 50. We can pop past that 50. We might start seeing Pepsi move. It's got some room to move. We got some sell orders right here, right above. But again, maybe we're starting to see Pepsi move up. I'd like to see it get a little higher. We've had resistance right along this line, which is about the upper Bollinger Band. So I want to see these Bollinger Bands start to diverge a little bit before I get into Pepsi. So, okay, I'm exhausted, but that's a lot of stuff. But we did pretty well yesterday on all 3 lists. So hopefully some of you guys got in and took advantage of some of that. Trent, I'm tired of talking.
All right. Well, I'll just take a little bit of take a review of the month of June. I made a statement that I think got under the skin of Kerry on Friday, and that was the month of June was just a mere rebound of the lows of April, and that it was a natural event that we would see month of June be a strong month. If you're looking at the S&P 500, which is what we have here, you were from the beginning of June 2nd to the close of business yesterday, the SPX was up basically right around 5%. That's a pretty nice move. But if you go back and look at this drawdown that we had from February 19th until this April 7th, it was a substantial drawdown. That was like taking a slingshot or taking a spring and compressing a spring, and then we just had an explosion higher. And if you're following the VIX and you're using the VIX as an example, if you overlaid this, and it would be totally inverted. They're opposite, so they're now moving back. And so we are now back to where we were. Basically, we're just above. We closed higher. We're at all-time highs, which is cool. But we're basically back to where we were at the beginning or the middle of February. So the question I have is, will this go higher? And will we all continue to ride increases in our portfolio overall? And right now, from what I'm seeing in the volatility index, we're still below 19. That means it's an investable market. Tomorrow, at tomorrow's close, the 3-month average VIX will roll off this Liberation Day, Liberation Week. And that was that big spike we saw around March 30, the week of March 31st. And that's going to readjust all of the volatility, CTA, and systematic trading funds. Take into account, these funds, majority of them do not include any fundamentals, any economics, any of that. It's just numbers and math. And so as we see Liberation Week roll off this tomorrow after tomorrow's close, I'm anticipating, because it's a short week, low volume week, people are on vacation, this, that, and the other. As we get into next week, we're going to continue to see these funds readjust and put more risk on, especially the volatility funds who trade volatility with the indexes and use leverage to do this. You're going to most likely see them take on more leverage. Yesterday, I mentioned about $100 billion in net purchasing would transact between this week and next week. That's a lot of money coming into the market and buying stocks, buying indexes, and buying volatility. So I'm optimistic, no longer neutral optimistic, but optimistic, and see things going higher. Wanted to had a question about the tell sheet 12 and taking profits. So let's take a look at that. Let's see, make sure I got the right one. All right, so if you're not following the tell sheet 12, what this is the 12 positions that I use, more of a qualitative approach of picking off Kerry's tell sheet, which is constantly growing. And I basically, at the 16th of June, pulled 12 of the stocks that I felt, based on some qualitative measures, felt would be a good portfolio to run. This is a example portfolio. This is not a recommendation or advice. I then overlaid my qualitative approach, and that is measuring and basically mapping price, volatility, and volume of these stocks. And so what I broke it down to, for the simplest term approach, this is an intermediate to long-term approach. I'm not day trading this. I'm not swing trading this. This is a buy the positions when they get to the lower end of their ranges and hold them. I score them on a 0 to 4 scoring system, and the scores 1 through basically 0 through 4 get a allocation percentage. Now, something that was asked was, do you take profits as you gain profits? This is more of a intermediate to long-term approach. And what I'm allowing my system to do is to have the score that is applied to each position to dictate when I take those profits or losses. So for instance, when a score goes from, say, 3, which has a full allocation of 8%, I believe you had no more than 8% in each at any one position. When it goes from a 3 to a 4, I'm reducing my allocation by basically 200 basis points or 2%. Why am I doing that? This is the black box of my formula. I'm not going to tell you how I do it or how I've come to this conclusion, but basically it's telling me I'm getting to a higher sort of resistance level or a top end of the range, and that chances are I'm going to see a pullback. So in a sense, I'm allowing the model to tell me when I need to take profits and reduce. Where do those profits go? Well, put them in a money market account, put them aside, and as things readjust, you redistribute your cash positions. Right now, it's pretty much allocated except for two positions are scoring a 4, which means they get a 6% allocation. The rest are scoring 3s, which means there's more upside potential of that stock rising. So I want to participate in that, by having a full allocation there. Just to give you some hypothetical returns, if you had started this portfolio back on June 16th when it went live, you'd be up 12.75%. If this was in place and we did not, and we just held it, had a full 8% allocation in each position, you'd be up 29.97% for the year to date. But one thing I want to point out, and it goes back to what I just said about the S&P 500 and a recovery, and that is, if you look over here to June, this portfolio in the month of June had, excuse me, right here, was up 29.11%, which tells me the majority of these returns in the month of June for the year, after this drawdown we saw from February to mid-April, all came back in the month of June. And this tells me that the month of June was the spring was suppressed from February to March and then released, and the market recovered, as did this portfolio. As I said on Kerry's call on Friday, the true performance of a money manager, you being the money manager of your money, will not be on a recovery month or quarter. It will be when a portfolio is steadily, or markets are steadily going up, or volatility spikes and markets go down. That will be the true performance of this, and that's something I'm using here to track. I want to be straight, transparent with this and not look like I'm a genius and I figured this out, but I want to use my model to better risk manage. And I anticipate when I look at a lot of the positions, and let me show you a couple of those positions, if I can find my cursor here, going to, I need to share my screen. So when I look at the tell sheet 12, there are a handful of positions. A lot of these positions have all come up, back up towards a resistance level. And so, for instance, AMD, big run up since mid-April. Nice. That's cool. We participated in that. That reflects in the tell sheet 12 portfolio. But now we're in a resistance level. We're above the 200. We're above the trade and intermediate trend line. That's fantastic. Where I believe ARM will go higher is when your intermediate trend line, this yellow line, breaks through the 200. Then the sky, is the limit. Then we have fresh air. But our RSI is weakening. So I'm anticipating this will pull back towards this trade trend line, which is this white line, which means your allocation in the portfolio will change. So be aware of that. ARM holdings, similar situation. The intermediate trend line is trending up. I want to see it break over the 200. That is a intermediate to longer term momentum move of this stock, but right now it's up against resistance in this area, as we saw back at the first of the year. And I anticipate this will come back down to the trade trend line and find support. Credo Technologies, big run up, nice. If you've been in it since the first of, it's basically up, what is it? Since we started this on the 16th of June, it's up 20%, 21%. That's a nice move. Year to date, it's up 121%. So that's a big move, but I anticipate this will come back to the trade trend line, find support as resistance was created back in January and February, and it'll create support. The question is, will it hold up there? My intermediate trend line is going through the 200. That gives me confidence that trade trend line will become support, and then we'll start moving up through the summer. Cautionary is Micron, back to the trade line. We're seeing that their RSI is starting to dip down there. And when I look at this, I got resistance in this area as well. So I'm keeping that in mind. Where I will be, you'll see allocation changes is if the stock price closes below the trade trend line, and you start to see it fall towards the intermediate and 200 period moving average. Power Solutions, this is a stock that a tribe member submitted to Kerry. This thing has kicked ass. This year it's up 121%. As I said, up 20% since we implemented this portfolio on the 16th of June. But it is rounding. We're seeing it there. We're seeing the RSI round. That's something to concern. But it's been following this trade trend line this whole time since mid-April. And I suspect that trade trend line at 57.41 will become support. If it breaks down, then the intermediate trend line is my next level. A break below the intermediate trend line means the allocation goes from, in this case, 6%, 8% position to 1. The portfolio always holds at least 1% in each position, no matter what. And the reason is because I don't pick bottoms very well, and I don't pick tops. So I always want exposure because I believe in the overall fundamentals of the company and I believe in my model. So that's something to take into account. So overall, this is just to reiterate to the person's question about do I take profits? I allow the model to tell me when to take profits. And right now, chances are, as we get further into the end of this week and we see some of these resistance levels push away these stocks and push them down towards the trade trend, we'll see that adjustment in the portfolio allocation. And that's where you start to take some profits, put a little money on the side, and allow the stocks to reestablish support and move higher, and then you reallocate back into it. But this is a intermediate to long-term perspective. This is not a swing trade or a trade portfolio. This is meant to be a piece of your core portfolio holding overall. So that's what I got. Hopefully I answered that question and it's helpful, and we'll go from there. Cool. Let's open it up for questions. Charts.
Got a bunch of them today, Trent. So they're keeping us busy. PMNR. This one's interesting. I think we talked about this yesterday, and something happened. And what I want you to look at is look at this volume right here. Can you see this? Okay, I'm going to just roll this all the way back from February of 2025. Here's the volume is 60, 20, 1100, 4, 500, 50, 5, 5s, 135, 2100, 30, 270, 730, 255, 535, 490. Okay, 1000. We are now in May. Okay, 376, 106, 106 shares. That's all this trading. 4,300, 2,000, 2,800. Okay, 286, 47,000. So we're seeing a little more here. Back, 67, 45,000, 12, 26, 26,000, 110,000. No, actually more than that, 110 million on this day here.
So you're saying there's a chance.
I'm saying, wow. If you had happened to have had that would have been a nice run, because you would have closed out the other day at $4.27, and yesterday you would have closed at 33.90. And hopefully, if you had anything in there, you might taken a little bit of that off, because we'll see what happens. But I don't know what this does. Looks like a kind of a Bitcoin. Looks like Bitmine technology of some type. So news must come out of something here. But again, that's a big old candlestick. But boy, if you were in it, you made some money yesterday. And just remind you that the same thing kind of happened with Circle. Okay, when Circle came out, the stable coin, it shot way up. It was, well, let's just see what we got. It was, 64, shot up to 298. And ever since then, we've been kind of on a downward trend. And now we're at 181. So just be careful of those, because especially in these new uh, uh, cryptocurrency companies that are coming out, I'm noticing a lot of SPACs coming out. I think Tom Lee just became the CEO of a new company. They're gonna do treasury company, but they're gonna do Ethereum instead of Bitcoin. I saw that yesterday, which is interesting. So you're gonna see a lot of these. You're gonna see a lot of excitement. You're gonna see a lot of these move up like that. Hopefully, if you're in it, you take some profit out and maybe keep a little in just in case it rolls. But we're starting to see a lot more of that. Here's the next one. You guys got me full. Bull. Okay, this is Weeble, Class A. Let's go out 6 months a little and take a look at Weeble. Oh, okay, Weeble. It had a big old spike way back here in April. Came back down. We've just been going sideways, sideways, sideways. Let's get a little closer. Take a look. Again, we're right between like a really tight support and resistance, and that's where we've come up when we've hit resistance. Our volume went to 15 million, 7 million the day before, 6 million. So something spiked it up, but right to the resistance level. Then you have another resistance at the 200 right above it. On this, you do have some pretty good oscillators going here, but again, get past that, we're going to have another resistance at the 200. So bull. BBAI. I know we've talked about this one before. This is Big Bear. Okay, let's go back out a little bit on this one. I know you guys were in this for a while. Wow, look at that. That was a pretty good run up this way. And then we came right back down. We played along the 200, got above the 200. Again, this would have been one of those investment type deals if you played the 200. Right now, you have just pretty amazing run up. You can see it came right up to where the sell orders were wicked up. It got beat back down. You're outside of the upper Bollinger Band, have quite a bit of momentum rolling there. Your volume's ticking up each time. You got resistance above at 787 and sell orders at 707, and you closed at 679. So had quite a run up on this. If you were lucky enough to be in that and took that, you might want to set some sell limits up here to take a little profit and leave some in case you keep rolling. But you're outside the upper Bollinger Band. A lot of times that pulls in when you're only outside 5% of the time. So just be careful on that one, but it had a pretty good run. Wix, somebody wanted Wix, WIX, Wix.com. Okay, Wix.com. You're under the 200. Okay, you're under the 50. You've got resistance that we've hit a couple of times, sitting right at about 164. We closed at 158 yesterday. Right on support. You've got intermediate support and intermediate resistance really close together. You're playing right on the 20, right on the 9 as support. You got the 50 as resistance along with the upper Bollinger, and then resistance above. So you got to look at, I'm sitting at 158.46. My resistance or potential gain, if it would go up to the 50, is 161. So you got $3 to the upside, unless we drop down below this support level. But your support's right there. We've hit support, a couple of days in a row. So that's your upside. Here's your downside on Wix. It's pretty tight. And then it's under the 200. QBTS. Someone says they think quantum's going to take off. So we want to look at some quantum stocks. Quantum came up, had a nice run after earnings here. It was earnings, -2 cents per share. Came up, consolidated, came back down under the 9. Now we're playing resistance at the 9 and support at the lower Bollinger Band. And we're probably going to hit the 50 here. We have strong level resistance right above it. So oscillators are not looking good for me. So again, this would be something I'd wait and see if we can get a turn and move back up. But right now, the trend isn't your friend. It's kind of moving to the downside, and you're underneath a lot of resistance right now. So maybe coming up, but I don't see it right today. QUBT, another quantum. Another one that looks pretty much like the last one, came up, resistance, sell orders, hit it twice, came back down underneath the 2 or the 9, tried to come back up again, but again, you have resistance at 20.34. and we closed at 1917. So just a little bit on the upside. The 9 is starting to turn down. Your oscillators aren't quite there yet in confirmation on the MACD. And your RSI is pretty good at 63, reflecting this nice run up. So just be aware of what's right above you if you get into this when you have a lot of level resistance on QUBT, IONQ. We've traded this one before. IONQ, again, nice run up after earnings, hit resistance, and then we hit sell orders, came back down, followed the 9. We're above the 9 now, but right up against resistance again. Let's go back down, look at the MACD. MACD hasn't crossed over positive yet, have a little bit of crossover on the stochastic. Again, you come up, we've hit resistance, and then you've got sell orders above it. So this would be your upside, downside. You're going to see support at the 9 and then the 20, which are real close. So you're kind of on the upper level between support and resistance. And I mean, if you wanted to play it, maybe you could get in right closer to support and then ride it back up to resistance if that's part of your trading plan on IONQ. I'm not seeing just a real takeoff on these right now. RGTI, Rigetti Computing had a lot of resistance here, and we finally broke through right up, above where some sellers were, came back down, tried to stay above resistance, and now we're fighting resistance again. Bollinger Bands have converged. Looks like we're going to go sideways on this one. Haven't quite got the confirmation on the MACD yet, and 47 on the RSI, so a little bit under. And again, you're fighting this resistance level that's been pretty tight. So when you think about trading, look at your momentum and your trend, okay? Look at your resistance on the top and where your support is and where you'd want to get in and, try to maximize your trade if you are. But I don't trade right up against a resistance level. This is about where I would get out, because it goes a little wonky on me. But that's my trading plan, and that's how I roll with my trading plan. But everyone else has their own trading plan and their theories and trading philosophies. So follow it. If it works for you, follow your trading plan. You got anything else? Okay. Let's see. Hold on. Messages down here. 3 new ones. QBTS will be a buy. Okay. Excel, Dell, TDC, DIOD. EXEL. Let's try this one. Let me write those down so I have to keep going back and forth. Dell, TDC, DIOD, and EXEL. All right, back to the chart. EXEL. Again, we have resistance and sell orders right next to each other. Okay, and then we had this big old candle that got fought back. Okay, we took off. The bears came back and brought it right back down underneath resistance. Hit resistance, drop back down, supports at the 9. We're starting to roll up. We're seeing diverging Bollinger Bands. The volumes just kind of equal down here. A little bit of a bump on the MACD. I mean, your upside is the upper Bollinger Band, and then, where resistance is. So you have a little bit of room, and your support is right here at the 9 and the 20. So pretty good level of support. We've hit it pretty much twice. You're right in the middle of the band between support and resistance. So, maybe you can get a little wick down and ride this up, but you do have resistance right above you on EXEL, Dell. Dell had a nice run. We talked about Dell, I think, last week a little bit. Got above the 9, rode the Bollinger Band up, came up, got a little bit past resistance. Sell orders took it back down under resistance. And for 2 days, we've been fighting resistance. So the 9's coming up. We'll see if it might be able to pop up. Bollinger Band's kind of rolling over a little bit, come down to the oscillators. Pretty flat on the oscillators, still a little bit down. So, this would have been a nice run on Dell. Would I buy in right here? I wouldn't, according to my trading plan. However, if you were, investing on the 200, that was a pretty good trade on the 200. But again, that would have been an investment. We'll see where it goes, but it's hard to get past this line of resistance, especially when you have sell orders right above on Dell. TDC. TDC, whoa, okay. This is really consolidating. You can see it just sideways, okay, right along on the 50. Let's get a little closer. Take it to the 3-month. Okay, let me move this over so we can see it Teradata. Again, look at, we got intermediate support and intermediate resistance really close together because we have these Bollingers that are sideways. Now we have a little bit of a 3-day trend up, got above the 50, which is support, but you got resistance right above, and you can see the sell orders where we've hit before. So if we can get past and get some momentum going, get past this resistance, we might be able to see some upward movement on this, but right now I'm really not seeing other than 3 days up, 2 days above the 9, one above the 50. So unless we get some news to pop this, and we look at the volume you had here, and we went from opening at 21.77 to closing at 21.92 on this volume spike here. So again, look for your upside, look at where your downside is, you know, where your support is, and that's your risk reward on a TDC. And DIOD. I don't know if I've ever looked at this one before. Diodes. Diodes has a nice kind of slow trend up sideways a little bit. It's fighting the 200, just can't quite get there, but it's just right between the 200 and the 9. The 9's coming up, 200's kind of coming down a little bit. We're seeing the Bollinger Bands converge. We look down, just kind of flat oscillators, meaning just sideways. You got support here and really hard resistance here with sell orders above, plus you got a Bollinger Band. So that's your upside. And, you know, the 200 is at 54.03. You're closed at 52.89. And then your support, you know, on the downside, you can see it's been pretty good support on the 9, is at 51.82. So about $1 below where you are. You're right in between. So, you know, you gotta look at this trade and say, okay, what is my potential gain? I'm assuming it's a trade. And what is my potential loss, or where can I get in, and can I get a better entry point down by support and maybe bounce up to resistance and gain some traction on that? What's the volumes? 600, 800, 600. Okay, so decent volume, not the best, but decent volume. Again, it's just kind of sideways moving. I don't see much excitement and volatility, you know, as a trade for me personally. Okay. Oh, KULR. Okay, let's go back to the chart. KULR. Whew. You guys are working me today. KULR. Okay, this is a Bitcoin treasury company play. Okay, they have followed the likes of MicroStrategy for Bitcoin. So they're filling their corporate treasuries with Bitcoin, getting rid of treasury bills. So they're borrowing either against their shares or going out and just selling their shares and buying Bitcoin, putting it in their treasury. This one is kind of, well, this will follow whatever Bitcoin does. Okay, it's come back up. You have one candle above the 9. Okay, you don't have a crossover the MACD yet. Your upper level of resistance will be the 20. If you can get past the 20, you can see it's had trouble along the 20, getting past that. So if it got past the 20, your next level of resistance would be the 50, and that's at 937. You're at 713 right now, but you got to get past this 20. But if you can get past that, you got a little bit of room to run. I do like the fact that you're seeing the MACD kind of roll over. It's not quite there yet. You've got a positive on the stochastic. You need just a little more momentum. You're under the 50 level, but again, a smaller stock, 6 million shares, 12 million for 8 million. So you got a good amount of volume on here. I like it. It closed full candle above the 9. It's something that, you know, it's a $7 stock. You know, if you can get past that 20, you know, it has a little bit of room to run. Watch your Bollingers. So again, but it'll trade just like Bitcoin for the most part. Bitcoin proxy. Okay, let me see. Do I have any more? 2 messages. MSTU. MSTU. Put this up. This is T-Rex 2X long MicroStrategy. Okay, so it's a leverage play twice on MicroStrategy. So if MicroStrategy goes up, this will go up twice the amount. MicroStrategy goes down, it'll go down twice the amount. These are usually used on daily trades and not for long-term trading. This one I noticed right away seemed to have had support at the 50 till it broke through and it came back up. It is finding support at the 50 again. The Bollingers are moving up, and as long as MicroStrategy moves up, you'll see this move up in a 2x position. Again, these are for daily trades. You've got some sell orders above it. On this one, the volume is 37, 37, 36. So pretty steady volume on this one. But again, just be careful on these 2x and 3x positions again, because they can turn on you real quick, and they're not meant to be traded for a long period of time. They're meant to be traded on a daily, kind of like a day trade kind of situation. But MicroStrategy itself, the S&P just is now considering who's going to be moving into their index, the S&P. So they rebalance that. They kick some companies out that aren't doing so well, and then they bring some in that are. And MicroStrategy now is well within the bounds of being qualified as a S&P 500 stock. And I think there's a lot of speculation out there that it might hit like an S&P 500. And you saw what happened to Coinbase when Coinbase did that. Coinbase got into an index, big index fund where companies have to go buy it. You can see what happened to Coinbase. And so I think there's some anticipation that may happen. Not that we know for sure, but it's out there that MicroStrategy may be going into the S&P 500. So I think you're seeing some of that, along with Bitcoin did go up to 108 yesterday too. So a little bit of that too. So, we're going to see we talked a little bit about crypto yesterday, and Trent brought in some, other coins and programs out besides Bitcoin. We're going to see a lot of movement because the stable coin, what's going through in Congress, the passing of legislation on the Genius Act and different things with stable coins and Bitcoin, reserves for the U.S. So we're going to see a lot more interest in Bitcoin, a lot more interest in the ETFs, and you're going to see a little more volatility. So I think, Trent, we got through it.
All right. Hey, I wanted to take you mentioned crypto,
Yeah.
and I wanted to just show a couple chart of the top 5 highest capitalized, if I could get my cursor over, crypto positions, but on a weekly basis. It gives you some insight of what possibly is happening in the crypto market, and that is a lot of potential accumulation. This is Binance. You go back to November of 21. This had been a resistance level for quite a while. It's now becoming, in my opinion, an accumulation level right around where it's at today on a weekly basis, above the weekly trade trend intermediate 200. RSI is strengthening. That's pretty interesting. Question is, what's going to cause us to move up towards, $700, $800, $900 share? Solana doesn't have it's so new, it doesn't have a 200-week moving average, but is still having trouble. It's in this accumulation period, but below the intermediate weekly trend line and the weekly trade trend line, but above the 200. It just hit its 200-week period starting in April. But as you can see, it's just going sideways for quite a while, back into March of 24, almost over a year ago. And then XRP, this is a weekly chart as well, above the intermediate, yet struggling to stay above the trade trend line on a weekly basis, but in this range here. But the RSI is showing signs of life above the 50. And then Ethereum, we'll hit upon that. This is the one that Tom Lee's going to open up something similar to MicroStrategies. But when we go back, it's just in this range. Basically, is support. Oh my gosh. Uh, sorry, I have a dog bumping my hand, wanting attention. But is in a bit of a resistance level. If we go back for quite a while, you can see just how this looks on a weekly chart. This is sort of this resistance area, or I guess you could call it accumulation, maybe, of Ethereum. It's just struggled going back to 21 in this area. So the question is, when it comes to these stocks outside of Bitcoin, what's going to drive it higher? What's going to make these things move? And right now, it's really up to how you interpret this. Is this a accumulation period from April of 21 to where we are today? Or is this just where it's going to be for quite a while? When we look at Bitcoin's just pretty steady. It's followed that 200 going back to 2020. It's dipped below it a couple of times. But for me, I look at it, it's trading above the trade trend weekly line and intermediate weekly line. It's just pretty much staying there and above the 200. But I think this is a lot about how much supply is on the market for each position, how much attention it's getting. Bitcoin, of course, is the godfather of crypto. It's getting enormous amount of attention. It's getting tagged as the stable coin opportunity there, or kind of position. So when you're getting into crypto, take into account how much supply is out there, how much demand is out there. And still to this day, on a weekly basis, if I'm building just a crypto portfolio, my core holding would be Bitcoin, and then I would satellite around it with the Ethereum, the other higher market cap crypto stocks, and then have a speculative position, portion of that crypto portfolio. That's your meme coins. Those are your short-term opportunities. But at the end of the day, this is about supply and demand, and right now, a lot of this supply and demand is going towards Bitcoin. So keep that in mind as you get into the crypto world overall. That's what I got, Mark.
Okay, that's a lot. I
Yeah,
feel
but
like,
I think yeah, it's just, it's an asset. Everything's an asset. It's a question of, is there demand and is there supply? And
I mean, that's the one commodity. It's a digital commodity that is limited in its supply. There's only 21 million and will ever be around, and that's it.
yeah,
And
yeah,
I think our daily mining rate is 450 Bitcoin a day, and we're halfway to what they call the halving. And when that happens, it'll be half of 450. And so the
yeah,
supply keeps getting less and less. And if you go out on the exchanges and these companies and governments and exchange traded funds are buying and buying and buying. We looked at KULR. That's a small little company that's buying up Bitcoin for their treasury. There's going to come a time where the supply uh, cannot keep up with demand, and I think we're there, and we'll see. You know,
yeah,
I mean, I invest in Bitcoin. I invest in strategy. I have been for a while. Uh, it's core in my. Someone asked yesterday about percentages of their portfolio, which is really up to you and your risk. Um, but it's one of my core holdings, like just right along with Berkshire Hathaway and a couple others.
yeah. All right, Mark. I think we'll wrap it up there. One final thing, I'd like to say happy birthday to my youngest daughter, who's turning 22 today. I'm amazed at how I have not aged at all since then, but also hats off and happy birthday to my wife who made it really all happen. So, big support, claps for her anyhow, but happy birthday, Emma. Uh, all we'll wrap it up and
So how old is
go from
she?
there. 22.
Man, you are old.
Yes. Well, there's one ahead of her at 25, which blows my mind. Uh, I'm like, we still act like we're 25. I mean, come on. Uh,
Well, pretty
so
soon you'll be Grandpa Grinkmeyer.
no, I won't. No, they've informed me that's not happening anytime soon. So I'm all
Okay.
good there. But
Well,
anyhow, all right.
thanks
Well, you
everyone.
all have
What a great day. You guys go out, be careful. Thanks for all your questions and especially all your requests to look at charts and things. That makes it a lot more interesting for everybody and keeps us busy and on our toes. And it's kind of interesting that you guys bring up a lot of stocks that I don't look at every day or at all. So it's interesting to look and see what you're looking at. I really appreciate it.
same here. All right. You all take care. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow and see you.
Have a good day,
Live
Trent.
loud.
See you guys.
Thanks.
You too.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
All right,
Bye.
take care.